Now that we understand evolution is just a series of mutations that have been better adapted for their environment, we're going to review that a mutation is an accidental change in a genetic line. Mutation is a DNA whoopsie. And these can sometimes be beneficial, like a change in beak size. They can sometimes be not beneficial, like a heart condition or a genetic ailment. The other thing is variation and variety. We know this is a good thing. Variation slash variety slash diversity in a species is a good thing. The more differences you have, the more likely you are to survive. Because if you're all the same, you figure out how to GG1, the rest are going with it. So variation and diversity are needed. And we get that through sexual reproduction. That is why, despite the fact that it takes longer and it's more effort and more energy, it is a better choice for your species because it creates variation, which means it's more likely that one of you will live on. Now, adaptations. Let's talk about the misconception of adaptations. So if we're talking about, let's say, a beetle population, right? And they're in the green grass. There's a beetle population in the green grass. And then you have a dark green beetle and a red beetle. Now, immediately, which one do you think you're going to get eaten faster? The red, obviously. So those are going to get GG'd. They do not change into green. This one red cell doesn't go, oh no, all of my friends have gotten eaten. I need to change myself to dark green so I can adapt. Absolutely not. Nope. They're not camouflage beetles. Unfortunately, all the red ones are going to die. Well, that was rude. All the red ones are going to die. And it's going to be the green ones that live on long enough. Let's see if I can undo it. Perfect. The green ones that live on long enough to reproduce and create more. So now that they're able to survive, I have more green because they've been able to reproduce. And the red have been picked off and eaten, not changed to green. Okay, so when we're talking about adaptations, we're talking about a species, a group, not necessarily one specific organism. Okay? The animal does not change and think, oh man, all of my friends are getting eaten. I should change my body color. Unless you're a chameleon, no. Now, there are some adaptations that are inherited. We already know them. Humans, we can shiver when it's cold. We can sweat when it's hot. We can go get water when we're thirsty. We have a lot of things where our body sends us natural signals. It says, hey, we need to go do this to better change ourselves for this environment. Then there are learned. Now, these are the things that an individual can do that keeps them alive longer, such as hiding, mimicry, and camo. These can be not only inherited, but you can learn to mimic, you can learn to hide, you can learn to run, you can learn to fight. There are lots of different adaptations that means you'll survive longer that you can learn once you're already here. You guys had to adapt a great deal in order to become online students. Think about a day in the life of a person at school versus your day. You had to adapt a lot. You didn't just inherit the ability to become an online student. You had to learn how to do it. Okay? Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this video is natural selection. This does not mean there is a Mother Nature somewhere who's watching everything go down and is like, oh, I pick you, I pick you, I pick you, I don't pick you. No. It's their environment and whether they have easily adapted to it or not. We call it natural selection because it happens naturally over time without a human involved. If you just leave a species alone and allow it to mutate, variate, diversify, it will naturally change on its own without human interaction. And that is what natural selection is. It is usually in the best interest of that animal's survival. And we call that fitness. I'm not talking about The Rock, and I'm not talking about being swole. I'm talking about being the best adapt for your environment so that you are the fittest and can live the longest in that area. That is natural selection, variation.